Hello, this is Tom Styles, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and you're looking at my new Tecsun PL-600. Now, you'll have to excuse me if I call this a 660 during the review here. Just keep in mind, this is a 600. The old fart here, he sometimes gets his numbers mixed up, and he'll call this the 660. So, bear that in mind. It's the 600. And we're going to do our overview using the report card system. Oh, I hate when that happens. That dead gum weather station has to go tell me the weather every time I try to do a video. Oh, now that I'm in a bad mood, we'll proceed on. So here's my report card system. We're going to check out this PL-600 and the area of look and feel, readability, power options, tuning, audio quality, special features, and reception. And then we'll give it a final grade. Okay, here we go. First thing is look and feel. And I must admit, this series, the 600, the 606, and the 660, I really like the look and feel of these radios. Now this one, the 600, is slightly smaller than the 660, and it's more squared off than the 660. The 660 has kind of rounded edges. What was I going to say? Boy, that temperature station has just got me totally confused here. Okay. Moving on. The controls, the knobs, the tuning knob is extremely smooth on these radios. Some other radios, the tuning knobs, especially, and it's unbelievable, especially on inexpensive radios that have an analog dial or even a digital dial, sometimes the tuning knob is not very smooth and it kind of jumps, which when you're trying to tune shortwave, can be a pain in the B.O. butt. The lettering is very easy to read. They're smart. They do white on black. They don't do gray on gray or some dumb thing like that like some of the manufacturers do. At least with the black radio. Now, I don't know if the 600 comes in white or not, but some of the other Tecsun radios also come in white, and I prefer, and they have black lettering, which is easy to read, but I just don't like white. Well, I take that back. I like my ATS 909X, which is white. So there's an exception. Anyway, so look and feel, I think it gets an A. No problem. Like, I don't see any rough edges. The buttons all work real good. They're not loosey-goosey. So I'm going to give it an A on look and feel. Good start on this radio. Next item is readability, and that's the readability of the display and the readability of the lettering. And I just mentioned that the lettering is mostly white on black and some of it's orange, both of which really stand out. Real easy to read, even for me. Has a very good size display with a nice backlight. Let me turn the radio on. It's got a nice bright backlight. Everything on the display is crisp and clean, easy to read. Nice bar graph here for your signal strength, easy to read. So readability, I got nothing to complain about. So I'm going to give it an A. No reason not to. Okay. Power options. Now this one, the 600, and I don't think it's on the 660, and you can correct me, I could be wrong, but this has a built-in battery charger, so you can put in some rechargeable batteries and it will charge them in the radio. I don't like to do that. I'm always a little leery of charging batteries inside a device. I'd rather do them external in the charger so that I can see what's going on and make sure nothing bad's going on and not run the risk of damaging the radio. So it does have that option. You can turn it off so that it doesn't try to charge your batteries and your cool. It comes with an AC adapter, and it's AC to AC, which is a little unusual. Typically your little wall warts, I call them, adapters, go from AC to DC, which means if you lose it or you don't get one with the radio, they're pretty easy to come by. This one is an AC adapter, making it pretty specific to this radio. And let me just check here. I've got this 660 here, and the 660 uses a DC adapter. Okay, moving right along. And what's interesting, it doesn't really say AC on the side. It just says 6 volts, and it's got 2 lines. I think that might indicate AC. Let me turn the volume off. So that's something you have to watch for. The only reason I noticed it is because I looked on the adapter itself, and it said 6 volts AC out. So moving right along. So that's the power options. I want to knock it down because it's got the AC adapter, and I'm just going to look something here for a second and see if it says in the manual, tell you, because I just happened to notice that was, it says included AC adapter charger, plug into the wall. It doesn't really mention that it's an AC, and what I'm going to do here real quickly, so in case I had a memory cramp and seeing something wrong here, I'm going to look over here and verify that it is, because it does say, oh, I'm wrong. I must be thinking of another radio. I'm wrong. It is a DC adapter. So it's AC to DC. So I must be thinking of another radio. And that's why I wanted to double check, because since the 600 had a AC to DC adapter, I couldn't believe that where the heck did the camera go? I couldn't believe that its predecessor had an AC to AC. So that probably is another radio I just reviewed that had an AC adapter. So I can't mark it down for that. So I'm going to have to give it an A for power options, and the fact that it includes the AC adapter. And keep in mind, this radio is on sale for $75 on Amazon right now. Has all kinds of bands, which I'll get to in a minute. Okay. Now, matter of fact, I'll get to it right now. We're going to go to tuning, and this has AM, FM, shortwave, and longwave. So it has all those bands. It doesn't have the air band that the 660 has, but as I said before, I don't think air bands on shortwave radios work too good. So to me, that's not a loss. Now let's talk about how you can tune this radio. It has, and I'm trying to get it back in the darn frame here, it has a direct tuning keypad, so you can just punch in the frequency you want. To me, modern radios, shortwave radios, that's almost a must, unless it's a very inexpensive radio. Then, yeah, okay, it's optional. It has this two big up-down buttons to tune through the frequencies, and you can change the whether it's fast or slow tuning. On slow tuning, it tunes at 1 kilohertz. On fast tuning, it tunes at 5 kilohertz, and it also has the old analog tuner button It's not an analog tuner. This is all digital radio. But it has analog tuning, which sometimes on the newer radios that have the keypad and the buttons, they take this away. To me, being old school, I want this to stay here. That's how I find things, you know, slowly tune through the bands. I don't particularly like using buttons. It's okay. It's just one of my quirks. So you get a lot of ways of tuning. Plus, you've got on AM and FM only, you've got the ATS function for tuning, the automatic tuning system, where you push and hold the button down and it scans the band, say for instance the FM band, finds the station, plops it in memory, goes on, finds the next one, plops it in memory, and then when it gets all done, you got it all stored away in your memory. That does not work on shortwave. Now, its little brother, which is actually bigger, the 660, does have that function on the shortwave band. And it has two modes, and if you go back and look at my review of the 660, you'll see the two ATS sub modes. Great feature on that, and I forgot to mention that when I was introducing this new radio compared to its brother. I forgot to mention that it also has, on its big brother, the 660, it has the ATS function on shortwave, plus it has two sub functions. Okay, what else about tuning? In the shortwave band, even though it doesn't have ATS, you can push and hold either the up arrow or down arrow, and it will scan the international meter band that it's in. It won't scan the entire shortwave band. It'll scan the international shortwave band it's in. Now, if you start and you have a frequency that's slightly above or below an international meter band, it will start scanning from where you're at, go to the next higher or lower, depending on which direction you going, international meter band, and then scan in that band and stay in there. And it will scan until it finds a station, and then it will stop momentarily, and then you can stop it manually, stay on that station, or just let it continue on, find the next one. Okay, so it has got all kinds of ways of tuning, so there's no reason not to give it an A on tuning. Okay, audio quality. We're down here to audio quality. This has a pretty small speaker. For the size of this radio, this speaker does a pretty good job. Now, if you want to listen to stereo FM, well, number one, it's only a single speaker, so you can't really get any stereo effect. You can change it to either be mono and bring both channels, both stereo channels, into this one speaker. That helps a little bit. Or you can put it in stereo, use an external either earbuds or speaker system and listen to it in stereo. But it's like I say, it doesn't have two speakers. So given that, the audio quality for listening to shortwave and mono is very good. You have plenty of power so that you can get plenty of amplitude on the audio without distorting. So I'm going to give it an A. Again, most of the shortwave radios are not stereo. There are a couple of exceptions, but this one is not the exception. I'm going to give it an A. I could drop it down to a B because it's not two speakers, but like I say, in this category of shortwave radios, that's kind of the exception. That would, to me, that would be considered a special feature. And like I say, there are a couple of radios that do have two speakers in the broadcast. I mean, they give you stereo, true stereo. Okay, so we're doing pretty good on this radio. And you can see, I kind of like this radio. I really haven't found anything I don't like about it. Now, it doesn't have all the features. Now we're getting down to special features. It doesn't have all the features that the 660 has. For instance, the 660 has the synchronous detector circuit. This does not. The 660 has the ATS function in the shortwave band. This does not. Those are the biggies, and you of course are paying extra for those features in the 660. So if you want those features, yeah, go get the 660. So this is 75. The 660 is about 120 to 125. So just depends on whether you want those features. I have done some reception capability comparing the two radios. I don't really see any difference between the two. Maybe slightly, not a big difference. Special features. Let me think. It has the timers. It has a sleep function. It has the battery charger built in. What else? It has 600 memories. It does have the ATS mode on the AM band, a medium wave band, and the FM band. Not a whole lot of special features, and I'm kind of comparing it to the 660 that does have a lot of special features. So I'm going to knock it down, and it does have single sideband. Now, that to me is a special feature, like the PL-606 or 606 to be better. Doesn't have single sideband, and it's about the same price. So I'm going to call that a special feature. So instead of knocking it down to a C, because it does have single sideband, I'm going to keep it at a B. Okay, so there we are. It looks like we got a definite A minus so far, and then we're going to do another show where we show the reception capability and see how it does there. If it does, even if it does a C, it's still going to get at least a B plus. Now, one thing wrong, there's probably a lot of things wrong on my grading system, is I don't weight these things, you know, and the reason I state it is because reception is a biggie. If the radio doesn't receive very well, it kind of wipes these guys out. So I got to reconsider, you know, maybe give it 2 times what these other ones get. So in other words, it would be valued at 2 items, so the item count would go up by 1. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 that you divide the total into, which would bring, if this number, if the reception does poorly, it would bring all these down. I mean, it would bring the average grade down. So it's probably something I ought to consider in the future. Never thought about that before, but if it doesn't have good reception, I don't care how good the audio is or how good the readability is. It doesn't have good reception, it should get a bad grade or a mediocre grade anyway. So anyway, I'll have to keep that in mind when I do the reception testing of this radio and future radio. So anyway, that's my review for the Tecsun PL-600. Keep in mind, it's on sale right now at Amazon for $75. So, if you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.